So hard a week for Ten Hag, and it doesn't get any easier. United were battered 7-0 at Anfield last season, their worst ever loss in the historic fixture. A weekend Liverpool side were beaten in the Europa League by who was it? USG last night, wasn't it? But the Reds have still done enough already to win the group. What about this one? How big a game is this, Ray? You know, look, football's funny. It can slap you in the face when you think you know it all, and you think that United are going to go to Anfield and get battered. Could they shock us and get a result?
Well, I'll be amazed if they do, with the form they're in. Rivalry, obviously, Liverpool got a result last week against Palace. I don't need to see the game, but they didn't play that well. I think they had 1 or 2 shots on target the whole game, and 2 shots on target, and they scored 2 goals, and one of them was deflected, Salah's first one. So they didn't play great, but you expect them at Anfield to really, and that's signs of a team that could go all the way and win the Premier League. When you're not playing well and you're getting results like they did last week, then they're going to have a chance. But the way Manchester United are playing, I just can't see it. I really can't see past Liverpool winning the game.
Well, I don't think it's going to be 7 like last year. Look, let's bring in the Guardian's Manchester correspondent, Jamie Jackson. Jamie, a very good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Jamie.
Jamie, what do you reckon, Jamie? It can't be as bad as last year, surely. And look, if Liverpool get an early goal, who knows, but surely not.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you sort of ask then, can United actually get a result? I don't know. A draw would be a great result for them. You never know in football, as you just said, that it can slap you in the face. You think you know it all, and maybe they'll somehow eke out a win. But to answer your question, I don't think it'll be 7-0, but I don't know. I think they're in a sort of state now where they're almost hoping not to get humiliated in some
Shocking,
games.
Isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just sort of that's the way it's going. He's had his problems, obviously, Ten Hag. He's had a heck of a lot of injuries. He's still got a heck of a lot of injuries. He's got the Jadon Sancho situation, the Anthony thing. But what I keep on getting back to a little bit is, where is the sort of ongoing plan of play? So whoever's in the team, you can still see, okay, right, they've lost, but at least they've lost in a similar way, in a sort of attractive way, if you like.
Light at the end of the tunnel, there isn't, is there?
Well, there's not a great lot of light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, maybe he overachieved last season, Erik Ten Hag, in winning the Carabao Cup and finishing 3rd and getting to the FA Cup final. If he was to achieve, if he was having the season he's having this year, last year, maybe you could say, okay, fair enough. But I don't know. It's just, I mean, everything around United, as we all know, is magnified because it's Manchester United. He does need a bit of time. I think he'll, Jose Mourinho famously got sacked on the back of a defeat at Anfield, as the United manager. I don't think necessarily if they lose on Sunday, he will get sacked because there's no one to sack him.
No,
okay? And I think
this is dragging on. So Jim Ratcliffe, yesterday someone texted me because Graham Potter, I'll ask you about that, Jamie. He's been linked. A United fan texted me yesterday. He said, Graham Potter, we need Harry Potter. So is there any truth in the rumour that Graham could be in line?
I mean, Sir Jim and his camp would not be doing their sort of professional due diligence if they were not looking at the job. All I'd say about Potter is Graham Potter, he couldn't handle Chelsea, and I think it's fair enough to say that United is a bigger club, more magnified, as I say, than Chelsea. The way he plays is nice, of course. I still give Erik Ten Hag a chance. Arteta, there was times at Arsenal, towards the beginning of his tenure where some fans wanted him out. I know it might sound a little bit naive for me to say that at the moment with regard to Erik Ten Hag, but you never know. He's just got to get them going. It's very difficult for him. There isn't any money there. They've lost about 20 to 25 million through going completely out of Europe, as was mentioned in the clip, for the sort of transfers next summer. That's not a massive amount of money, 25 million in modern day transfer budget wise, but it is to United at the moment because they don't have too much money. There's a lot of debt there that we know it's catching up with the Glazers. As you say, this ownership thing is just dragging on.
Yeah,
we're told now Sir Jim might become the official 25% owner next week, but who knows? Because next week, if it's not next week, then you're into Christmas, and with the financial stock markets and all the rest of it, the lawyers, maybe it's then January, and it's just not helping anyone really.
Jamie, I've got to ask you about, the problem you always have, as Darren Bent says there, you've got to have a plan, haven't you? And that's the big question now. If you're going to say, right, okay, I think Ten Hag, is not the man to take the club forward, and it was always going to be difficult. Whoever takes over Sir Alex Ferguson, and loads of managers had their problems at Manchester United. But you've got to have a plan, haven't you? And that's why I don't think nothing will be rushed at the moment, because the problem is who's available. And the summer, we all know there's a lot more managers available in that summer period where they might just say, look, we might have to write this season off again and go again in the summer.
You know, this weekend, Jamie Ray, it's 5 years since Josie was sacked. 5 years. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sir Jim and his people, surely you're thinking, we can't really know exactly how the club works until we're in there, right? Until we're actually inside and we can, we're allowed to look at the whole thing day to day and take a real proper professional look at it. He's obviously a smart guy. Dave Brailsford's going to come in. He knows it. He certainly knows cycling and sort of elite athletes. And so how can you judge anything if you're them until you're actually in the organisation? So I think you're right, Ray. I think they will take a look at it. Obviously, they'll be looking at who possibly, if they were to get rid of Ten Hag, etc., they might bring in. But
maybe think Dave's the man to tell Ten Hag, get on your bike.
Very good, Alan.
It's a bit early.
But I mean, it's just, they are in a state of flux. They're in a vacuum. And if you're a fan, Manchester United fan, it's driving them nuts because of what we're talking about. Because there's, there doesn't seem to be any real leadership from the top of the club going. Down through the executive, and you've got Ten Hag there. He's basically the focal point. And if you look at it that way, it's a really, really difficult. You tell me who could sort of do a lot better in the situation he is in. It's very, very difficult. I mean, obviously part of his job is to manage this, but I don't know. It just seems almost an impossible job at the moment.
Yeah, no, I look at it as well, but the players have got to look at themselves as well, Jamie, haven't they? I mean, look, you got to play for pride. You're playing for Manchester United. You got to play. The fans support you through thick and thin, and they're not really doing themselves any favours either, are they? Because you can all feel sorry for yourself, and you could all blame other things what's going on in the club. But it's your personal pride when you walk out of that Old Trafford or wherever you're playing that Manchester United shirt. You got to give 100%, and there's too many players who are probably going through the motions at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I actually have come to the conclusion that most of them are just probably mediocre players who actually really shouldn't be at the club. So maybe they are trying as much as they think they should be, but they just haven't got it in them to elevate their sort of, they just haven't got quite the talent you need. I mean, I would separate a few players, Fernandes and Luke Shaw, for example. But you're right, Ray. I mean, you look at someone like Marcus Rashford, I just don't understand what's happened. 30 goals last season. It's not all about him, don't get me wrong, but, because he's like, the star marksman of last season, you're looking for him to kick on, nice new contract. It's all there for him, his boyhood club. And he doesn't look happy at all. That's the thing about him. Yeah. He doesn't look like he's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
So it's all very, very odd.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.